Aaron Kelly of 1769 Berkshire Drive, Willow Ridge, would like to say a few words here.
Replenishing that.
The floor is yours, sir.
I didn't anticipate being the first on the agenda.
Replenishing that. We're out of money on
It's
that.
all right.
Well, welcome and thanks for being
Anything
here.
that goes to the computer
A resident of Mark's neighborhood in Willow Ridge, 1769 Berkshire Drive, and
difference.
been in
I don't
contact
think I'll
with
ever spend $3,000.
John Roberts the last few weeks. But on the property, I have a creek with cattails. I attended this meeting years ago. I don't know how many years ago. I wanted to look that up, but I've been looking into recently again the area of my lot. It's still an aesthetic potential health nuisance, and looking into drainage options to regrade, maybe pipe, catch basin type things to cover over and get rid of the cattails. That's just eroding wider and wider, and there's still an unsold lot next to me, so it's between an unsold lot and myself. But came tonight to see about a couple options. John had mentioned that the city does perform ditch maintenance on an irregular basis, but I asked if maintenance could be performed on the ditch first, and then wanted to ask if I could follow up with my own improvements for the aesthetics and the things. I said have a contractor in to work with the pipe, trench, and dig, give a good beat to it, put a pipe in, maybe a catch basin or two and some drainage. But didn't know what my options were there, but just printed out some of our traffic over last. But I thought both options together would be ideal. That one, that the city could perform the ditch maintenance as soon as possible, and then two, I perform the rest of the improvements myself. But according to John tonight, may be able to fit the ditch maintenance into a schedule and assign someone to work with me, be a point of contact with the street department, and then same thing with landscaping and visual improvement approvals.
Do we know, John, Willow Ridge has an open ditch drainage system. I know that the folks up on Alpine Circle at their own expense kind of buried some of that and put catch basins in and that kind of thing. Is it defined, like where the ditch is supposed to be? Or like for city right-of-way purpose, if we're supposed to be maintained, normally when we maintain something, we have some right-of-way to it, and that allows us to be able to go maintain it. Is there such a thing for the open ditch drainage in Willow Ridge?
Well, Willow Ridge was designed with all open ditches, but a lot of the residents have preferred to put pipe in the ditches over time. The city has allowed them to do that under certain conditions. Cumberland Crest is a good example of that. You may not realize it, but on the opposite side of your street, the whole side is piped in all the way down. And as long as you have a drain, a surface drain to allow water to be caught and go into the pipe, and as long as you have a slight swale above the pipe to get water, and as long as the pipe is sized properly, we do allow them to do it. Also, the house with the pool down at the bottom of your house that actually faces Alpine Circle.
Yeah.
They put a drainage pipe all down and through there, and that actually goes
Yeah,
all
there's
the
a
way.
catch basin in my neighbor's backyard.
Yeah.
On the downhill side of me.
Okay, and that might be piped to it, I'm not sure. But that goes all the way across the Willow Ridge. So there actually is precedent for allowing that to be done.
But I guess what I'm asking is there a defined location
Yes,
for where the ditch is supposed to be that we're supposed to maintain?
yes, it has to be within the right of way, specifically within the right of way.
Okay.
Or in Aaron's particular case, in a drainage easement, which basically is the same thing as a right of way.
Okay.
under the street and across the road from me, there's a catch basin with neighbors across the way. It's just a unterminated pipe on my side that terminates into. Actually, there's one from the unsold lot as well comes in into the V. So there's two that come in and go into the road catch basin across. There's a retention pond on the other side.
Yeah.
A few neighbors back in there.
You say you live in Willow Ridge.
Right.
You say you live in Willow Ridge.
Yes.
What we did with Berkshire Drive, that was the last street that went into Willow Ridge. We learned a lot of lessons in regard to the earlier parts of Willow Ridge and drainage pipe. So there's a lot more plastic pipe that was installed when Berkshire Drive went in as part of the streets installation than there were in other areas of the subdivision because of a lot of problems that we ran into earlier. However, there is still room, like a drainage easements and stuff like that, add more as long as it's done properly.
So is the question then, would the city offer non-financial assistance and permission for you to install a basin and a drainage pipe that then connects into that one that goes underneath Berkshire? Is that what the ask is?
Correct. The first ask is if the city does do routine maintenance, you said it wouldn't be aesthetically pleasing. That's not a major concern up front, but they could get the cattails and that trenched out roughly to get a better grade on it, because it comes down the hill race and then kind of just drops. Then it goes into the pipe. Just get a better grade on it to trench first. Do that routine maintenance, then it would come
To get,
right
I
back.
mean, I looked at it the other day, and it was wet in there. We only have a backhoe. You know, we don't have a track hoe. We only have a backhoe. We'd have to see if we could get that backhoe in there without getting stuck. And it looks like on the north side of the creek, I don't know whose property that is. I don't even know what easement we have to go up there to clean those. Do we have an easement on each side of the ditch?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people mow right up to that ditch and it tracks their yard. They get
And all
out.
of the
Now
back,
the other side is open, it's just an open field or something.
and all of the backyards, there is an easement for utility purposes.
Are you mowing that? Because somebody mowed it.
Right.
You mowed it.
I have a stake still, but I mow further into there, but that's a follow-on question. That lot, it's unsold. I think it still belongs to the developer. It's Howley and Fairfax Homes. But they have to come in, don't they, once a year to at least
They mow, don't
mow.
they?
When
they
send
get
a
on.
violation.
Oh, okay.
That's probably all right.
Do you mow on the other side of that ditch or not?
I do.
You do, okay.
That's really private property. Both sides is private property.
Well, there should be a drainage easement in there for that, regardless.
We had other issues. I remember, what was that guy on?
Yeah.
Willow Ridge and Alpine.
Parker.
Dale Park.
Dale Park,
Dale Park.
but he's been pretty well appeased here lately.
Well, what we did for him, we didn't do anything per se to the ditch. We, where the culverts go into the ditch, there was like in there 3 that goes in there at the same time.
Yeah.
It was making a hole there, and we went in and put some rock in and just kind of filled that in, so
So that it wouldn't
filled
be
it
a
up a little
road.
bit.
Right,
That's about the only thing we did.
Right away in our east.
Well, they went, the last time they went in there too, Bob, you guys sprayed it and killed off all those
Well, they
weeds in there.
weeded it.
Really weed eat there. Killed weeds off real big.
He has the opposite problem. It's not an erosion problem. It's a deposit. It's right. I mean, it kind of flattens out right there, and there's a big area there where it's kind of marshy.
I'm surrounded by moat. I mean, the front swale stays wet pretty much, and there's between my property and the Davises are up the hill from Berkshire. It comes racing down Berkshire and takes a hard right, and it's wet through there. I got a lawnmower, tractor stuck in there in the wet months. I pulled out with my truck. But I was gonna make a call to Howell or Fairfax Homes and see if just ask permission if I'm able to come in from that side with the backhoe and not get stuck, but work from there. And the contractor that I've contacted had out to the property, and he's offered to when it comes in, come from that side, dig down deep enough to get the roots of the cattails and just cart that off, and get the trench in a better shape to where you put the pipe in there, it's half the battle to keep it dry. Cattails that love the wet, so that'd be half the battle. Maybe come back over and cover it back over and plant.
Well, I mean, if you're going to, I'm trying to get this in my mind, right? Because if we go in there and just clean the ditch out, wouldn't you just want to do it all at the same time? That you put the pipe in. I mean, how big a pipe is he going to have to put in there, or what can he put in there?
Whatever the size of the pipe is that's going underneath the road.
Whatever the culvert is under the road.
Yeah, you have to install that pipe.
It'd have to be that. And then on the high side of that, then you just put the catch basin in there.
You would have to put a catch basin somewhere on his property at the lowest point, probably just before it goes through the culvert.
What's you doing at the high end? If he starts this with.
Well, what you're gonna have is, what it would look like very quickly is, if this is the ditch, and you put the pipe in here, you still have a very faint swale like that over the pipe to collect surface water from this lot and this lot. And then, this is the road, and this is the pipe going underneath the road from the sides. And this is his property going up like this.
Right.
You would put the pipe here and probably put a catch basin right about here, so the water would come in.
Is this pipe being open on the high side over here? Is that
Yeah, it would
pipe
be open,
open?
yeah, it'd be open at the edge of this property.
So you have to put a catch basin in the top side too.
No, you only need to put a catch basin on one catch basin.
I mean, we're talking right up in here,
This
right?
this field right here is
Right,
his lot.
yeah.
So the neighbors probably here, you have their problems, they can find it.
The neighbors could tie in if they wanted to, so if they did, we'd probably put a catch basin here and then tie.
So the only thing I'm saying, if we go there and clean it out, I don't know if we're not running transit or anything, and if we're gonna put pipe in there, wouldn't you want the guy that's gonna put the pipe in, just go ahead and dig that out, without us digging it out? Because if we dig it out, then it may not be the right, if you're just kind of cleaning it out, then
May not have the right specs.
I mean, we could probably go in there and clean, if we can't get a backhoe in there, you think it's too wet or not? To get in there to get,
It has been.
yeah,
Not now. No.
it's a possibility, and then,
This is heavy
I don't know if
equipment.
our requirement is if we dig that out, do we have to haul the dirt out?
Tearing up your yard.
Yeah, we have to hold out for a place really close.
That's what say, on the other side.
On the unbuilt on lot side, you could maybe get it. John, let me ask you a question now.
So you can get in there.
All right.
Come down the
As
road.
I remember his property,
That's what been maintained on the other side.
it's probably pretty generous to draw it like that. I'd say it's much less of a grade
It's a
But
But you can tell.
You can
when you get here.
You could
I
eyeball
just
it.
can't tell.
If you put the catch basin close to the road, but everything in front of the catch basin here is still flat.
That's tricky. This is looking at it, if you're standing right here, you're looking in this direction, it's a bit black. You're looking at it like this.
Okay.
Aaron's house is over here, the vacant lot is here.
Yeah.
What you do is this swale, or very gentle cut in the ground, actually follows this all the way down.
Okay.
So the water will run off both sides,
Okay.
follow this.
So
down.
the wetness that is here then gets channeled here?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you're saying put the catch basin close to the road
Right, at the lowest.
and have all that then come into there?
Yep.
Okay.
On the top, it'll be on the.
Or multiple.
It'll be on the bottom,
Yeah, you
it'll
can
be
put
on the
multiple
bottom
ones
of
and
it,
catch it
and
other places.
coming out of each
Swell
side.
both ways.
If any neighbors wanted to further a hill wanted to, yeah.
End of the day on the street.
Right, exactly.
Hey, I made the Davises aware that I was coming to this meeting tonight to see if they would be interested in tying in, but they're not. But it comes from an original farmhouse on that, I believe. Down the hill comes in two different directions, winds in and comes across the Davis's property.
Yeah.
And theirs is still pretty tame, but it seems to hit mine and it rushes
Flattens out.
flattens out and widens out, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse over the
I
years.
mean, would it be advisable to talk with the, see if you can get the backhoe up in there and possibly dig out what we can? But it might be counterproductive if you're thinking about having somebody come down.
I think we need to limit what Bob would do from the
Right.
point that we have to be careful. We only clean out the ditches, and we like to help everybody, but when one person gets it done, everyone's gonna jump on the bandwagon. So it's one thing to clean out a ditch, which we may wanna do, but it's under our normal limits. But it's another thing to really clean out everything around it. We won't be able to do that. But to dig out, and normally, when they dig out a ditch, it's not a pretty sight. Usually, if this is a ditch like this, what they do is they just scoop out this just like this, and it's a pretty steep cut. And if you go, matter of fact, if you go up to Franklin, go up towards my house on Franklin, on the right side of the road, you can see where a couple of years ago they did this, it still remains. And their job is basically just to clean the ditch out so water flows. They can't make it pretty with the equipment they've got. So this is what would occur on Aaron's property. And then he would have to basically go back and get somebody else to clean it out like that. What we want to do is make sure we get it to a depth that the bottom of the pipe would lie in.
So he's not talking about a lot of pipe though, because the catch basin's by the road, right?
Well, the pipe would go as far as he wants it to go back.
If you had but you'd have to have then another catch basin up the hill.
You would have to have another catch basin just before you get to the road.
Here's an idea, which might be cheaper than pipe, might be. On the other side of Berkshire, when we went and looked at this a couple weeks ago, on the other side of Berkshire, where the pipe in his backyard then goes under the road, and then there's a catch basin on the other side of the road, and then it goes under. Then it comes out. But there's that concrete trough that, I mean, if memory serves, that area is pretty wet all the time. I mean, if there's a natural spring or something up there, that area, for cattails to grow, it's got to be wet most
Mark,
of the time.
is that the thing that's almost right up at the top of the ground?
Yeah, yeah.
And the water comes up out of that when.
Well, the water, everyday water that just comes off of that neighborhood, that cement trough is able to handle that everyday amount of water.
Yeah.
Maybe that cement trough at the start of his property back there would be enough to catch the water and run that straight to the catch basin.
But it'd be probably more expensive to.
We
use
generally,
concrete than
the
wood pipe.
trough, the reason the trough is to prevent the catch basin from being wet all the time so you can't mow it. That's the reason the trough is there.
The detention.
Yeah, the detention basin.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that concrete trough, then water's gonna lay in there all the time and it'll be wet and hard to mow. I mean, what we have to worry about in a city easement or something like that's put in is future maintenance of it. You never know how long that's gonna last. The pipe is a better way to go primarily because once it's installed, it's gonna be there forever, and it's much easier to maintain the surface area over the pipe than it is the trough itself. I mean, the trough would work, but I think to do what Aaron wants to do, the pipe would be better.
Would be least expensive, if less than putting concrete.
The concrete would be expensive having to form and stuff too.
I mean, I think he's worried about aesthetics too. You don't want to see it at all. You want to cover it up.
No,
You want to flat, you want to mow over it. If you want to cheap way out, just dump it on your neighbor's yard and make it work.
the follow on after
Take it
after I buried the pipe, like I said, where I got stuck was between the two properties.
You can't over
And there might be a perforated pipe that is buried in there to go
Right.
into the catch basin. They put a 90 in for the one that's going off the road. So you want to be follow on too, but I wanted to take care of the cattails area first, and then
You want to flatten
really
nice.
do another.
You don't want to see it anymore. You want to flatten it.
Right.
With the
one
white
thing
period.
The one thing we do want to carry, make sure we do is, if we were to do these things, just our standard ditch maintenance is what we want to perform. If we went outside those parameters, we're probably getting ourselves in trouble.
Mhm.
You know, so we'd have to very much limit it to the ugly ditch, and you would have to come in and do the rest. If it were.
But Bob's got a good question. Should the timing of that coincide with when he wants to actually put in the catch basins and the
I
pipe?
think you'd want it to be done fairly soon. The pipe should be installed fairly soon after, if we did the ditch maintenance.
Uh-huh.
Any ditch maintenance were done. Well, because if you get rains, sediment, the problem he's got is sediment has filled that ditch up over
Mhm.
time. If you were to wait 6 months and have a
Yeah.
period of rains, you could get more sediment and it wouldn't have done you any good.
Yeah.
So if this were to be done, you'd want to time your installation of the pipe with the street department's digging of the ditch within 4 weeks or something like that, I'd say 4 or 5 weeks.
And I have most of the control over that. That's not a problem.
Do you?
It's timing and money, but
I
the
mean,
the
the
thing I
contract,
was trying to get was, you said on an irregular basis, routine maintenance. I've been there 11, 12 years and it's not been touched.
Well, you
Or
got
at least
probably has.
start.
7 or 8 more, at least.
7 or 8 more.
I mean, we could go in there and we'd see what we could do, but I think John explained that we would only do what was in the original ditch. If something has happened outside that ditch, we probably wouldn't do anything about that. But we would do, maybe eventually though, that wet area would dry up because maybe the water's getting in there easier now than it would dry up. So that's
okay with you?
That's great.
So Bob, would,
now if we can't, for some reason, we can't get a backhoe in there, I don't know, I'd have to take my point over there and look at specifically what.
Whoever owns the unbuilt on lot, are they really gonna care if there's
I'll
now
call
backhoe?
him,
Yeah, I mean,
I'll call and tell him he's gotta get the grass cut out by the way, something like that.
yeah, there you go.
He's not
And then-
that guy.
Access to the ditch would probably only on that one side too.
Yeah, I think you wouldn't be able to get access to the ditch from
No.
inside because the cattails.
Yeah. if you could use the unbuilt on lot where there's more of a slope there anyway,
Yeah.
if you could use the unbuilt on lot, do that as opposed to tearing up
You don't
a homeowner's
tear up
lawn.
his yard, you got an option.
Mm-hmm.
So Bob will take the foreman up there and see what we
For
can get
example, years ago, I was able to use a weed eater from each side and get the cattails from each side to the middle, but now I can't even reach to the center.
Yeah.
That's how wet it
I'd have to
stays.
know how high to go up there and what the property line is.
If you were to do the ditch, I think you'd wanna go probably beyond our property there. So, what you might wanna do is maybe call, Scott Haynes or somebody from Joe Henderson, to give you an idea of where that is.
That unbuilt on lot, the back corner of that lot, going off this map, looks like it might be just shy of the middle of your neighbor's backyard.
Yeah.
So you would be able to go beyond the unbuilt on lot and go past his property line.
And
Yeah, I think it does too. If you go there, you kind of look at it,
Uh-huh.
that's the way it looks.
the other thing too is if the neighbors are satisfied with the ditch, the way it is in their yard, and it's functional,
They might want to hook
They might-
into it.
they might just wanna leave it.
Well, that's true too.
Because
but
some
then-
people,
they
they
might
don't
wanna
wanna
hook-
go, because their ditch will look like that too when we're done.
Yeah.
So, it depends, we may wanna talk to them too, to see, if they want the ugly
They-
ditch.
Well, the thing of it is, they may want to put the pipe in.
Yeah, if
Okay.
they want to.
So, Bob will get
Yeah,
up
my
there
foreman's
and-
off, I was gonna report that, but he was off, he had his gallbladder taken out. He was off last week, he's off this week, he's coming next Monday. So it won't be any time this week, we can go, I'll take a look at it and we'll go from there and see what's possible.
All right.
And don't dump it on your neighbor, George, it was just a joke.
Thanks a lot.
I know a place to put it, there's a detention pond washout in Willow Ridge. We're working with ABQ.
Yeah.
Use that.
Yeah.
We can use that.
Up in Forest there,
to dump it?
No, up up on the top of Kimberly Court, behind Kimberly
We'll just have
Court.
to coordinate.
Oh,
I'll
that's right.
Take Dave
Okay.
and see what we can do first, and then we'll go from there.
They do that arthroscopic.
Okay, thank you. All right, Bob, want to continue on?
Number one, the agenda, just, we got the, rock salt price from the state, not too long ago, and it's $48.84 per ton. So,
How much is it again?
$48.84 a ton.
It's not a bad price.
It's down, isn't it? Isn't that down?
It's, it was, I think it was under 50, but the last few years it has been higher than 50, and it was even up to 60. And then when we went past what we were required to buy, it could have went up to 80 if they wanted to charge us that.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, how many tons are we,
Usually get a couple hundred to fill the barn up, and then it depends.
how's the barn? How's the barn?
It's full.
They're full, right then. So do you have to order a certain amount though?
Yep.
Well, you know, remember how it is. I mean, you tell the state, here's how much you're going to order, and you got to order. You get that price.
You have
You got
get
to order
that
at least
much.
80% of what you say. You can order up to 120% at that price.
Okay. That one year we didn't have much snow. I mean, we had snow,
Right.
and then we didn't order as much. Then we had to buy it all, and then we had to store it outside,
Yeah.
covered up.
What's Farmer's Almanac say? What are we looking at this year?
Dave Pennington quoted the Farmer's Almanac.
I know.
I don't think he's been right yet.
How many tons you gonna order from? Yeah, yeah.
Well, just when the barn gets empty, we'll probably another 200 ton, but we have, see, I don't know what he put in for this year. It could have been 600 tons.
Okay, so the deadline of telling the state what we're going to order has already.
It's already been done.
It's already been done.
Okay.
I can't tell you, it could be 500-600 ton,
Okay.
what we said we would do. And then you have to at least get 80% of that. You don't have to get 100% of what you did, but you at least have to get 80%.
Yeah.
And then they've always said if you go over that, though there's probably a stockpile of it right now.
Yeah.
Because last winter, there was nothing.
Yeah.
So, and then they were stuck with some stuff, so they did some things to get rid of some of it, so. But the price is down, so that's good. That's always good for us. And then just hope it doesn't stop.
Jeez.
Okay.
We have, we're a little late doing this, but Dave has been off some, but we have paint and a thermoplastic ordered. And that's a pretty big, I mean, usually we spend over $20,000 a year just in paint alone and thermoplastic. This year our budget is a little bit less, so we're ordering a little bit less. But that has been ordered, and as soon as we get that in, within the next, I would say within the next 2-3 weeks, we'll be doing that. Striking the streets. And, you know, we were lucky on 30th Street, we didn't have to do any of that, so that helped us some, but some of the other areas we have to continue to do that. The paving is complete. And I haven't heard anything bad about the company. That's the first time we hired them, Spires.
I think they did a
Paving.
good job.
And
You think it's?
I agree.
yeah, let's ask, is there any Willow residents that would like to comment? How did you think they did a good job up there?
Very nice. That, this is the Spires paving job.
It's a different deal.
My
And
only question, I guess, on that, I had an ag question. They had come before they did that. They roughed it up in between, or up to everybody's approaches, the
Right.
driveway approaches.
Right.
What's the reason for that?
just so they can make that transition, I guess, isn't that what they, for the driveways?
Yeah, if you don't want to, use, it's called milling, you reduce it,
Right.
you remove the
Yeah, they mill
asphalt,
that down.
and they replace the same amount of asphalt. If you didn't mill it, you would actually raise the surface level of the street and cause drainage problems.
Yeah.
So,
The asphalt would be higher than the end of the
Right.
driveway.
and also when you mill it, you get an opportunity to remove surface imperfections that if you just paved over it could cause additional damage to the new asphalt.
And we try to match up the driveways as close as we can.
And how originally Fairfax Homes, when he was building the home, had the advantage of the road was already there,
Yeah,
and building a concrete driveway right up to the road was perfect.
Right.
There was no edge or whatever, but when they
It's like, they're
It is
trying to
what
get
it
as
is.
close as they can. That's that's all we can do. So.
No, very nice job.
Yeah, thank the curb boxes where they have marked, we called in today. In fact, I didn't talk to them personally, but they were waiting to do the curb boxes on, we talked about this in the department head meeting today, on Franklin because of the 13 being closed, and they thought there would be increased traffic on Franklin, so they were waiting for that. But they haven't done any of the other ones either in the city. So I'm sure that's they've contracted out with someone else to do this concrete work. So
Today they cut out around the manholes in
well, they
Willow
did.
Ridge.
Maybe we got a hold of them, and but we're going to call them today.
Yeah.
So we're trying to speed that process up. And John from the water, he wants it done too. So I think the mayor said today we might as well just go ahead and do Franklin. And if it goes to one lane traffic, that's just the way it goes until we get it done.
Yeah, Franklin is not part of the official detour route for the State Route 13 closure. I mean, we know that the locals are using it more, right, John?
Yes.
Yeah. But I really don't think we can let that stand in the way of them getting this work done. It's got to be done. And 13's probably going to be closed in another month. So.
Aaron, can you give me your phone number? What? You have a phone number you want to give me?
Yeah, home, cell.
Probably the one I can get easiest. Cell probably.
Cell 740 area code 398-4864. I'll give you home just in case.
Okay, go ahead.
323-5789.
And the guy that, we'll go look at it, and are you home during the day ever, or no?
Weekends,
What's that?
weekends maybe, but I'm just right over here at the base.
Oh, okay. We could, if we go look at it, we'll give you a call sometime. We'll let you know if you can be there, you can. If not, we will tell you what we can and can't do probably with that, okay?
I will make time. I have a pretty flexible schedule.
Okay. Oh, that's right, you're a government.
Work for the government.
Oh, okay. We're all government workers here. Just lighten the mood a little bit. Also, so the paving's done, but we're very happy with it. The next item is future equipment needed. We've had some maintenance problems with our dump trucks. It just seems like there's something always going on with them all the time. Well, the one that we replaced is, I think, a 93, so it's 20 years old, but we're just having some problems with it. But the dump truck, for Planet, it's close to $100,000 for a dump truck, and I know our capital improvements is not plentiful. And then the street sweeper, we've had people calling us and want us to do their streets, and it helps maintain the catch basins in and the storm sewers and stuff, so stuff doesn't get in there. And to fix it and get it going really good, it would cost us a lot of money. New street cleaner, 125, 150,000. I don't know. These are budget woes, but my budget's been cut, and to try to keep fixing things, I run out of money. And if we don't replace these things, then we may not have a street sweeper at all.
Is that what they were using today on South 30th Street?
I don't know if David, us?
Yeah,
I don't know. I had called.
It looked like they were
David
putting some berm in on there.
They've been putting berm in,
Uh-huh.
but we can get it running, and then something else happens to it, and it's nickel and dime, it's like crazy.
Here's a question I have, Bob. Now, the dump truck's a different story. Right? What about the street cleaner? Because of the budget constraints, we have fewer staff in the street department than we've had before. Which means that there would be fewer opportunities available to clean streets. Okay. Would it be better to think along the lines of when we are going to clean streets, I don't know how long it takes to clean all the streets, if it takes 2 weeks, if it takes 4 weeks, I have no idea. If when we go to do that, rather than buying a street cleaner that is not used for 11 months out of the year or whatever, would it be better for us to rent something? Or maybe rent it, yeah, have some sort of an agreement maybe with another city that has one and we pay them to use theirs for that period of time where we are, you know what I'm thinking? As opposed to buying one new and then having it sit for what would probably be quite a bit of the year.
Well, that's funny you say that because people used to rent ours out to clean their street. The Port Authority, you know, contracted with us and we were cleaning their parking lots and things for them until ours just
Giving
went
up
down.
the ghost. Giving up the ghost.
So maybe,
Well,
I mean, that's a
we wouldn't probably have
possibility.
the manpower even to do that. I mean, that's taking somebody off of mowing the right of ways or that's something.
That might be the thing to look into.
But we've had some requests from the clean here and there. Some of the residents will say things, and that stuff does collect. I mean, it does, and we haven't been able to do that. And then eventually that stuff can get in the storm sewers and things, and can eventually clog some things up, along with the grass trimmings that people throw into our street too. But that's just
One
which we're
thing,
not supposed to do either.
one thing that a lot of people aren't aware of is the residue that we pick up with the street cleaner. We have to dispose in an approved sanitary landfill. We just can't throw it away someplace in a pile.
Like, it might have like oil and stuff in it.
We have to report the approximate tonnage that we pick up with a street sweeper to the EPA as part of our clean water.
Yeah, we can't do what we did in the old days, which would take it up the quarry.
And dump it. Can't do it anymore. See, actually, it's not just the cost of maintaining the sweeper. We've got to dispose of the stuff
Huh.
and pay for the disposal.
But
So
anyway,
we'll look into those.
yeah, that's a thought
We're
process.
gonna have to start
explore.
replacing some of our dump trucks. It's just we're gonna have to. So I don't know if we're thinking about leasing again or buying. I don't know what the best way to go on that. Keith, are we leasing or buying things now?
Or bond things
Buying.
generally.
Usually they're reciprocated.
My advice is buy, save and buy.
We'll continue the same route.
Well, I mean, you have these things for a long time. We're really
They
busy.
use-
The next thing is street signs. You asked me about. We haven't. It could be around 25,000. I'll do the rest.
I'll do it.
They kind of a ballpark from what we had spent on the other ones, and what we have left. Same like going to work inventory, see what we have to do. I say that's an estimate, so you want to just either put that in capital improvements for each year or put it in my budget, or how would you want to? You have an
I guess
idea?
that's-
I'm
I guess I'd
sorry.
say I'd like to see, get the rest of it, but what about the areas that you put the signs in that they're still missing some signs?
They're ordered.
They're ordered, okay,
Yeah.
all right, 'cause
Yeah.
people keep asking me about that.
They are ordered, and I asked Dave about that today, and he said they should be coming in, but the problem, some of the problems are that the signs are brown, and then the posts are, I think some of the posts are coated.
Right.
And it takes a while for those to get in, it takes a little bit more time. It's just
Posts.
like, all that stuff takes a little bit more time. So, but they are ordered, and they've been ordered for a while now, so we're waiting.
I think, like, if we could take the rest of the city and just do it in quadrants or something, and just, so that,
Piece by piece.
yeah, so over the next, I don't know, 2 to 5 years or something like that, get the rest of the city done. I mean, if you said 25,000, maybe 5,000 a year for 5 years or something like that, I just don't want people to wonder, well, how's come we still got, the, what I mean, it's like,
I guess I would like to do it faster. than
Well,
that.
faster, well, I don't know the money situation, I mean, maybe you do it,
Right.
in 2 to 3 years.
Do we wanna do that through the
10,000 a year.
budget or through capital improvements? I mean, that's up to you.
We'd have to take a look at that call.
Cause we put all those signs up this year, and that was quite a job, but we did it.
Yeah.
So we could do,
Most of that was grant money, but didn't we have to use some capital improvement money for that?
I ended up having,
Or did it come out of your budget?
I ended up having to get some posts out of my budget.
Is that right?
I mean, I'd like to see it in the next, year or two or something like that, but I
Yeah, I
don't wanna
would
break
too.
the bank because we
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not this.
But that's something
In
we.
some areas, it's not essential.
We just have to decide if we wanna do it. I mean, it's easier for me to do.
I agree that I think it should be done. I think we do need to take a look at, let's lay the map out, let's figure how many signs we're talking about. And the whole conversation of how we pay for it is probably gonna determine the length of time that we do this. So, no, but I think it's a good idea to do the whole city that way. Now we need to plan for how we wanna do that.
I mean, I'd like to have the whole city done before it's time to replace the new ones, you know? It's like, now we got the
Yeah,
ones
when's
done,
the
now we're
reflectivity on those, yeah.
Well, we will do that. We're a little bit disappointed with the sign company because it just takes so long to get it back. And and the cost is a little bit high, so we're looking to see. I mean, I saw that Upper Arlington does their own. Now, I don't think that's something we want to do.
What do you mean they do that?
They buy the reflective material, and they might have the signs already, you know, the tin and stuff, they already made it, they put it on there, but you have to have a machine to do all that stuff.
North does their own. Had their machine.
Yeah, North does theirs too.
I've seen those machines, OML conferences.
All we have to do is get the brown material and get down there, while they're running them.
Very expensive.
Go down there and make a
Yeah.
rolling wheel and switch the material out.
Yeah, we could.
Selling a lot of the old street signs.
It's like buying.
I think we've only sold
You know.
2 or 3 that I know of.
Maybe no wheel in there for
Jack,
you.
we had,
Maybe 4, I don't know. Did you buy one?
yeah, I bought one.
And Daisy Lane,
Yeah, an overall comp.
Walden.
I gotta get my overland over.
You haven't bought one.
I don't know about it. Crap, I don't
I
know.
bought the Disney and
Did you? What do you do with
I'm gonna put it up.
it? Where?
I'm gonna put it up by my front door with the mailbox.
Okay. Well, we'll look into that more, but
They put my address on the mug.
Did Jobs do the whole city when they did that?
what's that?
Did Jobs do the whole city when they did that, when they were with the number of street signs and all that? Or did they just do the area where the grant was replaced?
They might have done an inventory of the whole city, but they only figured out where to do the signs for the project.
Okay.
We'll keep seeing what the best way to go. But yeah, it'd be nice if we could at least put some money in for next year. That would be, because I would like to.
Yeah.
I think they look nice.
I think they
look
do
real
too.
nice. I think they were if you get your street paved and you get a new sign, what else would you want?
New water.
Just
clean.
clean that
You
up.
will originally decide for that. You will originally decide for
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
No.
See, that's what I said. So we
Well,
put
it
there-
still has the wooden post.
So we ought to put, once you pave the street, that'd be a good time to put the signs up too, so it all looks new and everything.
It'd be pretty.
Or we don't pave your streets and we give you new signs. He said, we didn't get a street paved, but at least you got a sign.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't want people saying, "Oh, Ron, Willow Ridge got paid. Now they got the new signs." I wonder how that happened. I don't need
See, I
that.
got signs for no paving.
You don't need that, do you?
Too late.
Nah, you know, we all got main streets, and we all know where we're going anyway.
It's too late, too late.
That's all I have unless somebody else has.
This is a lot longer.
Any other things for
Yeah.
Bob?
Yeah, but we have a lot more fun here.
Nothing else, we will adjourn at 6:14.
Speaking of signs, right here.
Right up.
All righty.
Getting busy. Okay, we will call Parks, Recreation, and Davis Shade to order at 6:14.
All right, yesterday the pool closed, and I will have a report next month. I think I said last month I might have something this month, but there's just too many outstanding bills that haven't come in yet. And it takes a while for, I would like to have the payroll for August. And, I've done a little bit estimate how things would turn out. I would say that this will probably be the lowest income year we've ever had since we've done the improvements. So now that as far as expenses go, we'll have to wait for the last payroll to come in. But I would anticipate that we'll have to pay more into the debt service than what we had in the past, only because our income will be lower. So I want you all to realize that that probably is going to be something that's going to happen. But until I get the final figures from Linda, I won't know for sure. So, but it was a rough summer as far as weather goes, cold and stormy. So that just played a big part. There's not a whole lot we can do. We're always looking to see what we can cut and make it as efficient as we can, and we'll continue to work on that.
Oh, we had 1 week where it was in the 90s.
One week it was nice.
Now that it's closed, the forecast for this week is
Hot.
hot and sunny.
Hot and humid.
Perfect thing.
So I'll have something more in detail. It won't be probably won't be 100% complete, but it'll be pretty close next September.
Did Ohio State and OU were 2 schools that were on quarters that have now changed to semesters.
Right.
So they're going back to school earlier also.
Yeah.
Was that an impact? Was there an impact on the personnel at the pool? The fact that those 2 now go back in semesters, they go back in the middle of August or whatever it is?
Well, I mean, my boy, for example, he doesn't have to go till Thursday. It doesn't start till.
Oh, okay.
So then.
So they're still starting after Heath schools
Yes.
did? Oh, okay.
Yeah, a week, like a week later.
26.
Yeah, Chase starts at OU next week from today. When he starts.
Okay.
Yeah, I just paid my first tuition bill last week. Do I look any different? My pockets were hanging out.
Mayor,
I can't afford to save anymore now.
I would say it impact the fact that if the colleges started, like when Ohio State started mid-September, okay, if they would still doing that, then if we had enough Ohio State employees, then if we wanted to stay open, we could, still. Now, with the school starting and then the colleges all starting, you don't have any employees that, even if you have real nice weather this week, you'd say, oh, open up. What employees you gonna have? You can't have anyone to even
Who
be
could
there.
go?
The
Kids that are in school couldn't
Yeah.
go.
Well, you still have your people that are retired and different things like that and stuff. I mean, there's still people that could go. Or after school, I always thought, if there's a way to keep it open where you're open from 3 to 7 or something like that, and stuff. But I think all you get is the people with memberships coming, so you really wouldn't make any extra money. And most of the kids now have homework or sports or something activity going on, so that they couldn't come anyway. So I don't think you'd make any extra money by staying open.
And then we'll just have to look at any improvements that we have to make as far as just maintenance things. We've had some problems with one of our heaters, our activity pool heater, and it's always the same story. We had a heater that they said didn't get enough air, so we had to do certain things. In fact, the heater for the old pool we put outside because eventually they said it needed more air. So we have, of course, now we have one in our new filler building that we thought that was secure because there was an opening in there and stuff. Well, apparently some of the same things are happening again. So we're looking to see what that. I mean, it's always something, and it's usually no one's fault.
And it's usually the new stuff.
Yeah.
Newer
stuff is causing us more problems than the older stuff. That's for sure. I guess that's just part of the beast. But again, I think a lot of people have enjoyed our pool. It's very nice. And I think we still have a pretty good deal for it on that. So we'll work through that. Along those lines, I did put the dog paddle on here. So if you want to report on something, you're welcome to.
Another great event. Deb was there. You didn't get to make it, did you?
No.
Heath stopped in. He brought his wife and stopped in. It was another great event. We had T100 there. He did interviews. We had at least 600 people and 300 dogs and a lot of fun. We just counted up our funds. I've got to snowball it all together yet, but I think we're right at the $5,000 mark again of what we made. Everybody that leaves had a wonderful time. Be back next year. Thank you for doing it. We just can't get enough applause for how it comes out. And pictures. The girl was there from the Advocate and took several pictures. She only put pictures of dogs in though. She didn't do the groups or
Yeah.
see things.
Nobody wants to see people, they want to see
Right,
dogs.
right. But I mean, she was just doing certain dogs and doing a little activity. But it's just an awesome event. I just can't say enough about it. I invited Marcia Phelps. She stopped in and volunteered for a little bit, and she had a great time. Sent me an email today. She said, Becky, include me on your volunteer list next year. I had a great time. You know, the volunteers that return to do the same thing each year, still happy for the event. So Sam and Pansy came and volunteered for me too. So it just really works nice. I think we've got it down to a science, and all I can say, Bob, is you've got a great crew over there. They all enjoy it too. Ann's been wonderful. I've worked with her several different times. They helped us roll fence yesterday. We helped them carry furniture. So wonderful event. I can't give it anymore.
And I think they've got it down to a science.
Yeah.
Because I was standing there trying to help her, and I was just kind of following around like a puppy dog. Okay, what do you want to do now? And it's like, okay, when I carry a few things, but it's like they really have it down.
Well,
How they missed getting pictures of that Saint Bernard with the zebra inner tube around its neck, or the dog with wearing the sunglasses. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I think the Saint Bernard Briggs is going to be he's
Briggs.
going to be our poster child next year, because when they put that ring on him, he knows where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
He wears it to the pool. He walks in, he's got that zebra ring around his neck. People are flashing pictures. He's been there every year. We had a second Saint Bernard that was taller. I mean, he was tall. I mean, awesome. We just can't say enough. They're just every kind. You saw. What'd you think, Heath?
It was entertaining.
It's definitely entertaining. Somewhat,
I was
Linda.
surprised that there weren't more spats. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
they just seem to get along. They seem to know it's for them. So.
yeah, that surprised me. You could get that many dogs together, and somebody doesn't object to the pecking order perceived.
Yeah.
And
The dog owners know, so this is what I've said, dog owners know if their dog is socialized, they can get along with other dogs, they know. And so they know to bring.
Right.
And a dog owner knows if their dog is not socialized. And so that owner is not going to bring their dog to that environment because they know it'd be nothing but problems.
Yeah.
So
I saw a few pit bulls, and you always think, not sure. Somebody said there was a mastiff there,
Yes.
but I think I missed.
And it was only 12 months old and stood this high.
oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
There was some rots there,
Yeah.
and they're of course big, powerful dogs. But anyway, I didn't see any. I didn't certainly no blood drawn.
Did you get a final number on the rabies shots and the
I'm going to confirm it, but the Dr. Poorman came up and said it was between 30 and 40. He gave 30 shots last year and at least 30 again this year for $10 a pop.
That's good.
I mean, we sold at least 15 licenses and at least 30 shots on the spot for people to get in. Because I had one group come in. They come in about 6:30, I think. They were running late, and the guy says, he gets up to us, and it's another $10 for the dog. He says, gee, Merry Christmas. I went, 30, 40, 50, I ain't even at the door yet. But his dog is rabies shot, and he paid a late license fee because he hadn't bought his license. So it's $30 when you are late. And we had someone that just moved here, just got a dog, so they bought their license on the spot and got a shot, got to come in. So having those services available is very helpful, especially if they've driven. We had someone from Chillicothe, we had someone from Norwalk, Ohio, and we had someone from close to Toledo drive down. So, I mean, word is spreading. But one other thing I'd like to add, because it's with the animal shelter, we do have the animal control guys there. So that and they scope everybody before they get to us. Do you have your rabies shot? Do you have your license tag? So they kind of set the tone of people coming in. Like, you just can't walk Joe Blow in here without a tag and be able to get in the pool. They're going to stop them. So having their support John Silva, Tyler was there with us most of the day, and their part-time deputies were there too. And John Silva, you know, we battled him with the gas chamber, and we have come together and started this event, and he still has the first one on his phone that he goes around. He's been in the business for over 30 years, and he still talks about this event, how much it has made a difference in his own personal life. So that's why I invite y'all just to come and see it, because it is, I mean, like Heath saw yesterday, how do you put that many dogs together and they don't fight? You know, it just goes off without a hitch. I don't know what to say, but
I was going to bring Brownie, but she wants to fight every dog. She's about this long and not that high, you know.
Yeah.
I figured that'd be the wrong place to take Brownie.
I was
And
surprised at how late people still came in,
Oh,
because
yeah.
after 7:30, there was still
Yeah.
a couple people that came in.
yeah.
It's just not getting much
And
of
we
the money's
do
worth.
have the gentleman from Granville that puts the camera on his dog and videotapes the whole thing. Of course, he's got to do a lot of editing when he gets home, but if the dog can wear it in the water and everything, but it's cute. It's called Cooper Cam. So you can imagine, hi, how are you? And he goes to the back end. So there's a lot of editing, but it is cute. It is cute. So, yeah.
Anything else about the dog paddle? Or
You can have a great video with that.
Yes. It is comical.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you. Mayor, do you know, when the playground equipment is scheduled from Robertson?
Eddie and I talked about that last week. There was supposed to be, Eddie was trying to get a hold of Christian Robertson. I'm not sure that he was successful. I think I might try to step in and help, because the equipment, we should be receiving the equipment soon, I think.
Okay.
So I might step in and try to make the call to Christian and have him. You know, when we met a few months ago about this, when he agreed to donate his company's time and talents to help make this happen, he had the idea of trying to make it, now of course they'll put the posts in and anchor them in and all that themselves, but the assembly of the new playground equipment, they, you know, he brought up the idea of it making it a community event. Well, I have gotten an email a few weeks ago from Mr. S, the vocal music director at the high school. He would like, you know, he was asking if there were community projects or things that the kids that are in the vocal music program could participate on. I know the high school has that Bulldog volunteer group of students that, so this would be perfect for you know, student groups like that to work on. So we need to try to get some dates nailed down, get some things planned out, and then that way we can, you know, schedule some people to come and make it a community, you know, event, the assembly of the equipment.
I wanted to go back on the, I wanted to get off this subject. I gotta get back to the street just for a second. I want to say something I forgot. That we did do 79 in front of Meritor, and that was a add-on. They gave us a list, and the mayor picked that out to do. I told them to invoice me for that separate from the paving. Now, I don't know how the paving's come out. Hopefully it comes out even what we had appropriated. But I'll probably have to come back to a legislative request to do that, the paving one in front of Meritor. Because it was like $7,500. That wasn't included, I don't think, in the original price. Did we do that later?
Yeah, but
We appropriated $7,500.
I was going to say, wasn't that water?
Water department.
Yeah,
Has he
that's
done
why.
that yet?
Yes,
Because I have received the bill, so just get the bill, Johnny.
it's appropriated $7,946 to repair
I'll just give the
79
bill
North
to,
Hopewell Drive.
I'll just give the bill
You're
to Johnny.
cuz.
I forgot about that at the last time.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of puzzled there. I'm thinking,
Right.
I was shocked that, I guess I was so
I'm
shocked.
surprised you forgot that, Bob.
You were in ecstasy over the week.
So,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
next
boy, you
birthday,
got
I will
just-
be really old by then.
You just got quiet as a church mouse when that conversation started.
He's still
Okay,
shocked
yeah,
you paying that college bill.
Oh, yeah. I ain't been thinking of anything like that. I'm not gonna come up with this much money. Okay, then we'll go into the pool roof. If you remember, we had the mayor go out for bid for the pool roof, and then we ended up having to do some kind of specs on that with Jobs, because there were too many, there were so many different ways you could do it. And so we had Jobs do it. We had our meeting last Wednesday, and it looks like maybe 4 or 5 different companies could bid on that. But there is a delay because of the skylight, and a lot of them, that's why you had that pre-bid meeting. A lot of them really didn't want to mess with the skylight at all, and we had kind of redesigned the skylight to be different than what it is now in the pool, because there's that's the only way light can't get in. There's some uplighting, but it doesn't help that much. But some of the contractors thought that because these guys are really they all like knew each other, and these guys were older guys and they had been in this business for a long time. They thought the new way that we were going to design the skylight, because we were going to kind of tone it down, that they didn't think there was going to be enough light in there, and they really didn't want to be responsible for it because they would have to sub that out. So we're doing some research with Richardson Glass and some other companies to see if we could replace what we have or fix what we had right there now. So we're getting estimates on that. So that's going to delay this, because the Wednesday we're going to have the bids come in, Keith, and I think that's going to be delayed. I don't know if anybody from Jobs has called you or anything yet, but that could be delayed.
It could be
Yes,
delayed.
like a week or 2 or sometime for that to say. So, but it looks like we're going to have 4 or 5 people bidding on it.
That'd be nice.
So we'll let you know on that. We're still getting the details. I think Craig may not be able to get the estimates from Richardson until next week sometime, so it could be delayed a couple weeks. But I just want to remind you that we are doing that roof. And the estimate was, it could fall anywhere. It just depends how this gets bid. But I think we had even looked up to $80,000 originally on that pool roof. And that's a total replacement, so we'll have to see. And I think that's all I have for parts.
Anybody else have any questions? I just have one thing. I just want to let everybody know that I was invited to and attended the Arts Council meeting last week. That would be a good idea to kind of be there to see what's going on. There were a couple things that I thought were noteworthy to share with the group. One of the questions that we received from some of the citizens was about them having an audit. They have contacted a firm, an accounting firm, a private accounting firm, and are looking at having an audit done in the near future. It's probably going to be, well, probably said it'll probably occur in January. They plan to do it annually, so I think that that's a positive step.
Depending on what the firm is, might have tough times. They might be doing taxes.
Yeah. The 4 bus tours scheduled in October. One of the things that they asked about, they're considering, they're looking at board members, and they're trying to get an attorney on that could be of some assistance to them. But one of the things they did ask was they're curious as to whether the mayor would be willing to attend the meetings as a non-voting member. They would like to have your presence.
Their policies and charter, they don't have any provisions for ex officio board members. It's just, they'd have to do that first. I mean, even before they ask, they've at least got to have a provision establishing it.
It's a good punching bag, man. That's what
It is once you.
Yeah, I know.
They don't even want you to vote.
Was it decided that their meetings are private? Did I hear them say that? Or?
No. Well, I can't speak to that. The only thing speak to is the response from the Arts Council to Bob Wankford's letter requesting updated financial information, like profit and loss or whatever, for this year. The attorney that the Arts Council had looked at this for them determined that they were not obligated to provide financial information like that to them. You know, like in the way that we do from a public records standpoint, that they're not obligated to do that. Now, they are obligated per the management contract to make that information available to the city of Heath. So according to the letter, which was the response to Mr. Wainford, you know, if the city of Heath asks for that information, then you need to provide it to the city of Heath.
I just turned in, I got the third invoice of the 4 that we, for the director's pay. I have already paid 2, and then I just got invoiced last week for the third one. I think you should have that. Have you seen it? I think I today.
Okay. I know there's some POs I haven't signed yet.
And then, is there another time that council would want to hear anything from her, from Jill at the Shea House, or is there? She came early. Did she come in April?
Was it in April?
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, April.
And is
Should be pretty soon.
is it would you want her again this year, or
Council.
what is there a requirement in the contract that we have with them?
Mm-hmm.
It's just at our request, or is it so many times
But
a
to
year?
be no less than semi-annually.
It's just her,
So-
correct? Just her, one person?
I think she.
Well, no. No, wait. The management contract does not say that it has to be the executive director that provides the information. It's that the Arts Council has to provide the information. Now, if the council wants to designate Jill to be the one to convey the information, fine. If an Arts Council board member wanted to convey the information, fine. There's nothing in the management contract that says that it has to be the executive director.
There isn't, basically.
Yes.
So, October, November, if that's what council wants, one of those 2 months, is that all right?
You know, you get into November, especially later November, they're going to be very
Something
busy.
in October, you want
October too.
Keep
They
it
keep it April,
April,
October makes 6
You'll be
months.
doing budgets, not twice in 6 months.
Yeah.
4 and
Yeah.
6 months.
Anything else? Hearing nothing, we will adjourn at 6:38.
We could have a 2-minute finance committee meeting, that would be a stretch, I think.
Right. Yeah.
That's only if I talk incredibly slow. 6:38, finance committee's on one item, appropriate $20,000 to cover the shortfalls in the police department. Brian, came out of your committee, any other comments?
Nope, you said the budget came out, he's out of money for vehicle repairs, so I think you discussed it with the mayor and we discussed it last meeting, so.
I think he wants us to waive it, doesn't he? Mayor wants us to waive
He
it.
didn't say that to me.
Oh, okay. Well,
Is the legislative request drawn up as such?
It is not.
So,
It says nothing about waiving and emergencies or anything. Okay. Committee, any other comments? Okay, that's it for legislative requests. No other items. Keith?
The only thing I'll touch on is ordinance 7013. References $3,000 transferring some money within the general admin budget from general admin services to general admin capital outlay. It says to purchase a new computer. Already bought the computer, so, you know, I'd appreciate it if you help me pay for it, because the other one just flat died, I think I explained that. But this appropriation, that computer that I got is not a $3,000 computer. I think I had explained there were some other things, and really, this thing should be amended. You can, I suggest you amend it before it's read
to say,
to purchase a new computer and other unspecified items. If you could add that and other specified items, I'm gonna wanna buy a chair for the new assistant auditor, maybe some furnishing changes as far as record keeping. I'm not sure just what we're gonna do. I don't really expect to spend the entire $3,000. No, it's unnecessary to waive it, but it needs to be amended. I can run the category in the red, because I probably have already paid for the computer that died. But I just want to be clear, I didn't buy a $3,000 computer. It was significantly less than $1,000.
So right here, and other specified expenses.
Yes.
You want that in a minute?
Please.
All we have to do is have Lynn read it that way.
That would be okay too.
Will you could so do that? Or?
Yeah.
And other specified expenses, right after the word computer.
Specified or unspecified?
Unspecified.
Anything else?
Yeah, did Lynn give you guys a copy of the amended AFSCME contract change? There's not one in my packet. Okay. There's no material change to it. There's no concept change in the adjustments that were made. It was basically wording. It was verbiage. Nick, did the bargaining unit vote yet on it?
Not yet. I haven't had a chance to get them. Like I said, we met last Tuesday, and it still was unclear. I spoke with you and said, okay, we agree that we understand the intent.
Yeah.
So now I need to call. It'll probably be next week.
Okay. Okay. If you all want a copy of it, I'll make copies of it. But basically, the changes that were made were to clarify that when you initially get a Class 1 license in either water or wastewater, when you initially get a Class 1, you're paid like what you are today. When you get any subsequent Class 1 license, it's half the amount that you got paid for the initial Class 1, and same with Class 2 and same with Class 3. So the changes were basically just wording changes to try to make that a little more clear. It didn't change anything as far as the concept or the goal or anything like that. So if you guys want a copy, let me know, and I can get you a copy of it. You got the copy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else for finance? Adjourned at 6:43.
Okay, 15-minute break.
And bid opening is gonna be the 28th. For the full roof. Change from the 21st to the 28th. At 45. Thursday.
How much of a break we got here?
After we have our little break, I would like to, I'd like to go into
Before or after the break?
after a break, I'd like to go into a executive session.
For purposes
Personnel.
I'm glad it went well.
Yeah.
We want a 10-minute break. Then
That's
we're
great.
It's going to be elected.
You're
They want a
break.
3-minute break.
But yeah, I had actually
Yeah.
yesterday I had a lunch meeting at Cherry Valley Lodge to talk about the. Thanks for coming in. To talk about the.
David, how you doing?
Yeah, I went.
Okay.
Actually, a lot more than that had that last little bit there. I gave away about $40 just because I had, I kind of look your money every so often and everything like that. And I had them 2 rows and stuff and everything, and all of a sudden I got done wondering. But Scott got me back. I mean, I was even down a lot more. I was almost going to be breaking even. And Scott got that pocket ace and just got bet. I got 2 pair. And I knew exactly what he had. I could have wrote on a piece of paper that said Scotty has aces or kings. I could, And he kept betting, I wasn't gonna ring, because other people called, and I thought, well, just.
Two
you know,
different
some
areas.
people
complaining about it.
Yeah.
And anytime I could arrange, with it, you know, and I knew at the end I had somebody being
One of
ready
them's
to
up
just,
here,
you know, throw over and stuff.
Greenbrier,
And
and the
he
other's
kinda
up
looks
here
at like,
Southgate.
how you keep two,
And
it was
then
wrong,
I
it's
had
just something,
another
you
one,
know,
and I
it's
can't
like
remember
anything,
what
you know,
area it was.
it's like,
They're
that time of
letting
night
it
and
go.
everything, you know, it's just,
Cat.
I look at your chips, it's like,
And it-
what the hell, if I hit the flop,
Clean it up, and it-
I'll
And
say,
the-
if I
and
don't,
the
my
room
neighbors
guards?
cost me $6.
Yeah, and the
Well,
neighbors
I hit the
are
flop.
complaining, you know.
You know, it's $6, you know, I mean, you know, you think about the guys that play there.